Sal y Andrade podcast, where we talk about bass, effects, and life things. Well, this is episode 10. Thanks for coming back and checking out the latest episode. It's been a while, and there's been a lot of things going on in my life, and I'm sure in yours, as the holidays have been well on their way. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and we have New Year's Day on the rise. So I'm super excited about 2026. And before I get ahead of myself, just want to be grateful, if I may count my chickens before they hatch, for making it throughout this year, right, to the end. And so, I feel very blessed and fortunate to have a beautiful family, wonderful wife, and friends and musicians that I'm able to go ahead and thrive with, right? Whether it's on the stage, off the stage, at home, at the job site, at work where I teach. It's such a blessing to interact with people on the regular, and definitely as much of it pertains to music. Much of the reasons why many of the connections do exist outside of my house is because of music. And with that, I do want to disclose much of my pedal board sounds, right? Some of the go-tos that I go to, right, when I record original music. And even if I'm not recording always with these sounds in mind, I love having them available because they are some of my favorite sounds to play on top of, or to have while I'm playing a melody, or even bass line for that matter. And so there's several units, right, that I feel justify each pedal on my pedal board, or pedal boards. As you know, I have two that are connected. I have my Mono Light board that has a Zoom 60B, EHX Pog, Pico Pog, a Swift Audio Tuner, JHS red button switch, and the Ampero 2 Stomp. Those are the 5 units on this mini pedal board, right, which is my go-to for all my cover band gigs and much of my recording. And it's just a great joy to be able to unplug the mini or the Mono Light board just from 3 different points, right? You have one main input jack at the beginning, another one going into the Ampero going out to the double-decker modular board, and lastly, the third cable would be the power cable, right, to power the whole unit. So that is one of the boards. The second board is a Mono Light Plus board that has several pedals. If I count them real quick, what's 4 plus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? So I have 9 pedals on this double-decker modular unit, all powered by Chalks. I have a Chalk Soul underneath the Mono Light board, and under the Mono Light Plus, I do have a Chalks DC7. So it's a great joy to be able to optimize power between both units, separate bricks. They can stand alone, or obviously being coupled together is an even cooler thing, right? When I get the chance to do it for recording purposes, or for trio live use and or original project performances as well. Let's see. All right, just starting right off the bat, let's start demoing some of these pedals. And let's start with the first one in the chain, which is in the double-decker modular unit. It is the first of 2 Zoom 60B pedals. It's still burgundy, right? I have not scratched off the paint off this one. But I have it obviously with a dry signal at first, right, as a preset. If I click the pedal on once, it takes me to a Black Sky by Tidal effect, which I'll demo out right now. So very granular delay, and I forget what effect block or blocks are in it, but that's a preset that I enjoy, and I can't claim to have masterminded it at all, but it's definitely one that I feel Just that sound alone justifies the pedal. But the next one that I get to once I click it is a dual delay. Right, you can already hear the difference. Really like it. So that's the dual delay. Obviously different than the previous preset, but different enough to where, again, I love recording original music with that one as well as the previous preset. Third one that I have saved here as a go-to is this lo-fi preset, right? It's I'm not going to dig into the preset, but whatever I made up with it from the Zoom 60B I titled it Lo-Fi Vibe. So here it is. I hope you dig it. Hopefully you can hear some of the graininess, some of the scratchiness. So that's the lo-fi vibe. And again, that's the first pedal in the whole chain. So the fact that it presents me with several options, although I could use much more out of it as more of a go-to type pedal or do it all one pedal, I choose to focus that unit just on those sounds. Moving on to the next pedal in the chain, it's the HX1. It's a recent addition, but it's basically just substituting the Optimizer octave pedal that I had there before. And instead of just being able to do an octave sound, I'm obviously able to do a lot more with the HX1 in its place. And given where the inputs and outputs are, it's very easy to squeeze in there and maximize all it has to offer. So anyway, I have the initial dry sound with it. But with that, that preset is actually a looper block. So if I want to start looping something in there, I can, and therefore start tweaking things with my hands manually with the effects pedals that follow it. I'm not going to demo that aspect of it now because you know how a looper works. But another sound that I do like out of the HX1 is this delay. I forget what the actual name of the effect is on the HX1, but that's one thing I've saved on there. Another one is, let me reach down here, and I just recently recorded a track with this. It's going to be released on my January 1st album called Reset, because we're starting a new year, guys, and like it or not, a lot of things are going to reset, and if it's a mental switch or a lifestyle switch, resetting isn't always a bad thing, right? We get another opportunity to make adjustments or to keep what was successful, what was beneficial from the previous year, right? Good habits are just that, right? They're worth retaining and being able to reflect and make adjustments to make not just better choices, but maybe how would you say, long-lasting choices, ones that aren't just futile, and you make it once and you're like, if I ever do that again, you can't get those minutes or that time back. But hopefully we make more worthwhile decisions, whether it's on a musical subject or domain or something in regards to relationships, health, financial decisions. So anyway, let's get off of that. Let's get back to the pedals. And so anyway, this effect I called dual P4 just because there's some fourths in there. It is a dual pitch block within the HX1, and I just recorded a track like I mentioned, and it's to be released in January. So let me go ahead and just demo that out. So there it is, just a little sample. Which I like to follow it up with some reverb. Sounds a lot better, if you ask me, with a little bit of reverb. And the reverb that I did add was coming from the Ampero 2, which is towards the end of the chain, just in case anybody's wondering. I will sample the reverbs that I have because I think they're all distinct and they're all important. And some just, they work better for certain songs, right? Either the longer trail, the shorter trails, or some that have a little bit of a delay component to it, right? So there's a little bit of movement in there. So anyway, I will sample that later, but after the HX1, it does funnel up on top of the double decker to the Chase Bliss Mood pedal, which, as I mentioned before, I really love this unit because my wife gave it to me. Her favorite color is peach, and it's very peachy. Well, anyway, ignore that. And but yes, speaking of reverb, it is something that I focus on when using this unit. Did I take off this? No, I did not take this off. Right. All right, here we go. So Chase Bliss Mood is engaged, and so you get the idea, right? This is generally where I like to leave the reverb slash delay aspect of the pedal set to for specific pieces, or if I just want a longer reverb trail type sound. Next is and obviously with the Mood, you can do some micro looping. There's a lot of craziness that it can provide, and I do occasionally mess with, but that's usually how I use the pedal, as a reverb slash longer trail delay unit. What follows next is what follows next is the Autobit Maris pedal, and this is awesome because if you're like me, bit crusher effect is so cool, right? It can be used in so many different contexts. If you listen to my original music, I use it in a loop type of scenario, right? Looping some sort of riff. I use it with some sort of harmonic motif in looping as well. I use it for actual melodies, right? So there's like 4 different scenarios where I use this, including the sequencer aspect where the shutter feature goes ahead and gives it some sort of rhythmic contour, right, and presentation, right? So this, I will actually sample this a little bit. Here's the Autobit Junior, just where I usually like it. Add some reverb, again from the Ampero, towards the end of the chain. But I also like throwing in the Chase Bliss Mood before it with this extended type of sound, right? Right? It's definitely different. And I know a lot of times we think, oh yeah, reverbs should go towards the end of a chain. But somehow the character that comes out of the Autobit Junior with that Chase Bliss reverb type of push prior to it, I think it's great. You know, sometimes it's a thing that I use live on purpose. There was one occasion where I accidentally clicked on the Autobit Junior and accidentally clicked on the Mood at the same time. And I was like, dude, why does it sound so long? Well, lo and behold, I had triggered it on accidentally, the Mood pedal, and ended up loving the sound. And I kept it on, right, for the duration of that particular solo. So again, you know, it's not always a one system fits all or whatever generic or commonly preached single chain that is out there is always the best option to pursue, right? It's okay to experiment, right? Try something different and see what happens, right? You might end up enjoying it. Still on the Auto Bit Junior, you can change the filter. I had a friend ask me, like, how do I get my Bit Crusher sound? And it really just depends on the room and how my ear is tuned that day. And so sometimes I'll fiddle with the Auto Bit Junior on stage just to dial it into where I feel my in the moment, excuse me, my in the moment ear is approving of whatever frequencies and however I dial in the sample rate and the filter at that given time. It does have, again, the shutter rhythmic component, which I usually leave this in a particular setting. And this is kind of like what it sounds like if I tap some tempo. Right? Right, that's a rough presentation of what it really has. But if you listen to my original piece called Towers Above, it definitely was tweaked a little more precisely in tempo and whatever key I had it in, and that determined where I placed the sample rate in the filter. But Towers Above, I believe it is on album Infinity. It's the 4th album this year that was released, and you can definitely hear where that sequencer shutter effect is key to how that piece is performed. And really, it's just the one part, right? It's just the Auto Bit Junior with the shutter effect and my bass. There is a reverb that follows it, but other than that, I think it's a unique way to just focus on a pedal and present a melody that's just glitchy and hopefully entertaining enough, and presents an image of a bell tower, right? Some sort of heights and aerial type of vision, right? Some sort of scope that is higher than ground level, right? So anyway, Auto Bit Junior, cool unit. It's followed by the Walrus Audio Melee pedal, or Melee, I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, it's a cool unit that has reverb and distortion in it. Right now I have it on the decay setting where it's in the middle. It has 3 settings. It's in the middle, medium or middle setting. There's a blue setting. This is the yellow setting, actually. The one I just played was pink. This is yellow. Warmer sounding. Obviously some sort of like octave reverb. And then you have the blue patch. We have some swells. Anyway, cool pedal. Love using it for background, soundscapey type of things. Even some sort of like interlude melodies right between the main verse and chorus parts too. So Melee by Walrus Audio. It's a cool pedal. Really love it. The whole toggle thing is novel and it looks great in black. I do have that in black, as well as in black another Walrus Audio pedal, which is the Fable pedal, which then follows it. granular delay. I usually leave this on this setting. So there it is, granular delay. Not surprising, but I really like how this unit presents it and how it couples well with other effects, which I'm not going to go ahead and demo everything. Why not? Let's do the Autobit Junior and the Fable and the wah, which is in the next unit, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Oh, it's still on the shutter mode. Excuse me. Let me turn that off. Love this. It's not exactly dialed in, but you get the idea. Yeah, so just with those three units, it's a very cool effect. And as mentioned before, the following pedal is the Zoom 60B, the second one in the whole chain, which is the one I scratched off all the paint. It's just in silver. And the Ottawa on this, I love it. It's my favorite Ottawa. And so I use that always for that. Although there's other effects that I can go ahead and demo, which is my Moogish synth that I tend to use. Obviously, everybody's raving about the MXR bass synth pedal, but again, for it being just a synth pedal, I can't afford to justify it on my pedal board or any of my pedal boards, and so I use this one when I need that kind of sound. Another effect that I like to use on here is a drive patch. So if I want some dirt but not crazy heavy, add some reverb. Anyway, there's the dirt aspect of that pedal. I do like using tremolo on it and the sequencer blocks in it as well. In fact, let me demo some of that really quick. Man, I feel like I'm running out of time here, but here, ooh, I like this synth sound. I call that ocean synth just because it's so big, so wide, and low end focused. But anyway, that's another one that I use to record. This phone synth, or I call it a phone synth. Right, that's another one. I have it on that Zoom 60B. And then, ooh, this one. I really like this one. Oops, here we go. Very dirt heavy. I use that one on, what's the name of the piece? Rushing Wind, right? On album 2, which is Evergreen, Rushing Wind. So check that one out. I use that for the bass line there. And then I guess one more that we can go ahead and add is, let's see, there we go. This sequencer type of sound, right? obviously you can change the time or the speed, the movement of the sequence, or how many notes are in the sequence. But it's a nice way to add some rhythm to your playing without having to do too much work and getting a cool effect for sure. So that's the Zoom 60B, the second one, followed by my Octaver by EHX, the Pico Pog. And even though it can do octave up and octave down, I usually have it on just the octave down setting. So enough of that, because we know what octave pedals do. There's the Swift Audio tuner, but that comes out of the right out of the second Zoom 60B pedal. And then finally into the Ampero 2, which it's my go-to for my OC2 type of sound. So here's the sound I get out of that. So obviously, there's, I'm sure, something to be said about it, as some people swear by the OC2, the actual Boss pedal, 3-leaf audio, other octavers, right, that are out there. But anyway, this is what I use because it's available and it's a way to maximize my Ampero to the space and the unit itself. I feel like it's a sound that I do enjoy out of it. I will click into it. There are 2 blocks right now that are engaged. There's a preamp block, and then there's the octaver that I have, which is blasting just the low octave only. But with that, I do have a second switch once I click into it with a little bit of a wah or filter, which I love the sound of. Here it is without it. Right? I don't know. Maybe it's just a preference thing, but I do use it occasionally and enjoy the sound that presents. Again, one of the reverbs that I said I would demo out of the Ampero 2. Not too crazy long. Here's the Mood. Right? And then here's the HX1. Somewhere in the middle, right? As far as length goes. Anyway, there's that. Let's see. Anything else I can demo? Oh, of course. After the Ampero, it goes into the Ditto looper, right? So if I want to demo something or record something in there, I can do that and without having to use the looper in the Ampero 2. And as some of you know, I actually have another separate little mini looper pedal unit, which I can talk about next time as to why it exists and why it's constructed the way it is. But anyway, here's the Ditto looper towards the end of the chain. It's the second to the last pedal effect in the, it's the third to the end pedal in the whole chain. So here we go. Oh, you know what a Ditto looper is. Okay, so I don't even know what my mind is trying to move ahead of me. So anyway, that follows it, and then it's followed by my Sonic Cake source compressor. It's an always-on pedal. It just kind of squashes everything a little bit, so it doesn't get too crazy. And again, all the effects go into it essentially, except for the very last pedal, which is the slower stereo reverb pedal. So this is where I usually have it set to. So pretty wide sound. I don't like having it too crazy long and wet. Right now it's at the medium. Excuse me. Right now it's at the narrow setting. I usually have it on the medium. That's interesting. So anyway, here's the medium. That was the narrow setting. Which, hey, even the narrow setting sounded really nice, just long enough. Here is the wide. I keep saying long. It's really about the spread of the stereo reverb. So the narrow sounded, I felt, wide enough. The medium obviously sounded a little wider. This is the widest setting. All right, so you get the idea what this stereo reverb does, and usually where I like the settings. It has a lot of cool features, but I don't really explore that too much with my original music or recording. But I do plan to, and I will showcase more of that once I'm able to, I guess, navigate it more confidently. Even though some of you may already know what the slower pedal does, and obviously there's so many videos out there already that present a lot of these units at great lengths, right? What they can do, all the details, and much more, much more efficiently, and with some sort of cohesive procession, right? The whole sequence of explanations probably are in a whole lot better fashion than how I ever could. But anyway, go check the slower pedal out, any of these pedals out on YouTube if it's something that you enjoy, or if you even like the way I use them in my original music, or some of the sounds that I have showcased here on this podcast, right? On this episode 10. So again, thanks for, just nerding out with me, checking out the effects pedals that I do have. And again, these are, if I never get another pedal again, I'm fine with these being my forever pedals. That sounds weird. These are my forever pedals. At least I hope. I hope that I can make these things last and, not have to I don't want to say waste time, but use time to recreate the wheel, right? Reinvent the wheel when these sounds are sounds that I enjoy, and there's so much that can be still explored and fabricated within several of the units that I have here. Obviously, the Ampero 2 has so much. There's reverse delay, which I've used to record. I actually didn't sample that. Maybe I should do that right now. Let's click out of here. Let's see. Ooh, here we go. Reverse delay. All right, so you get the idea. Another patch that I like to use is this silent expression patch that's on the Ampero 2. Some swells. I don't use it too often to record, but I do enjoy it, and I do save it on a preset or a patch that I can easily access if I want to use it live or to record. And one of the things that was super inspiring, which I talked about a while back, was the fact that a pianist was just killing on some sort of Rhodes, dirt heavy type of sound, with some sort of movement to it, whether it was rotary or some sort of tremolo, I'm not sure, but I definitely got inspired to create some sort of rotary Rhodes patch, which is why I called it Rotary Rhodes, even though it does not sound like Rhodes. But here's the patch. I love this, and I'll tell you what blocks it actually went into it. There's a drive block, there's a chorus block, there is a tremolo block, reverb, and that's it. So those are the four. But this is what it sounds like. Maybe I should turn that to a loop real quick. Here we go. I was wondering why it sounded so wet. It's because I still have the stereo looper on. And not stereo looper, the stereo reverb on, right? The slower pedal. So way to epic fail on a podcast. But again, this is definitely something new to me, which again, the podcast, it's been a new thing, and definitely enjoyed trying to process things and inspire, most of all, anybody else that's curious about being creative and recording their own music, and or what tools are out there and how they might be able to be used. So here's the rotary Rhodes patch that I've created without the stereo reverb. Is it engaged? Oh, here we are. There it is. There we go. It's more clear. Like that. I'm not going to loop it or play over it just because time is running out. I already tried that once. And you get the idea. There's some sort of wobble to it and movement, which it's cool in a slow, passive context, as well as a more energetic, high energy context. So love playing chords with it in particular. And that's one of the other sounds, right? There's some cool stuff out of the Ampero too that I still like to use live, and I'm going to go ahead and demo this out. I actually use this out at the church that I play with virtually every Sunday, right? The whole ambient type of so you get it, ambient reverb type stuff. And then lastly, that's a little bit more novel. Yes, octave up. So I want to add some reverb or delay, excuse me, and that's within the Ampero. I want to add some phaser, which I love doing this live. Just to hype up a solo or whatever. And again, not me soloing, whoever's soloing, right? Just add some more movement and energy underneath, and a more high energy, perhaps even rock context. But there it is, guys. Wow, it's been 39 minutes. I'm about to hit the 40-minute mark, and this is unprecedented territory. I've never gone this long in a podcast. And again, that's just a me endurance thing, but really appreciate you guys checking this out. Hopefully getting something out of it and enjoying the effects and hopefully being inspired. So we'll see you next time in 2026.